Hi everyone, Cindy Squirrel here from Squirrel Mills Farms. Just sitting in the office, late afternoon, thinking of what I can make for supper, and I have a cauliflower in the fridge. So tonight I'm going to make cauliflower, and I'm going to make a cheese sauce to pour over this cauliflower. Oh, quick, easy, and so good. So here's the beautiful cauliflower, and we're just gonna, I always rinse it first before I cut into it, in case there's any contaminants on the outside, because if you cut, then your knife is taking the contaminants from the outside and putting it all the way through. So I just give it a quick wash first, a little rinse off before I put it on the cutting board. Okay, we're all ready to cut this up. I like to cut the bottom green off. Toss that to one side. Now, you can either just core it like that with it standing up, or you can just cut it in half right down the center of where the core is, like that. And then you can see the core, and just cut the core out. And then you've got all the little flowerets there that you throw into your colander as they're breaking off. Get them out of the way. If pieces are too big, you could cut them in half. I like the big pieces. That one where you see a whole bunch of little ones, if you just trim that again, you see, now you've got a whole bunch of little ones. So just break those all up, throw them in the colander. Same as this one. You're just gonna, and no, I've never cut myself. Maybe 40 years ago I cut myself, but you get to know your knives and how much pressure it takes on the knives. Wouldn't recommend that for a new knife, pulling it towards you like that. Take the green off, you don't want the green. There's a little bit of core there. The core is a little bit bitter, so you really don't want it. That's a pretty big piece, so I'm going to cut that piece in half. It's just like, have you ever got coleslaw at KFC or any stores, and it's bitter? There's like a taste to it. That's because they put the whole cabbage into a slicer, including the core. The core is bitter. Please decore it, otherwise you're not going to like your cauliflower. Throw away that core. See, just break off into the sizes you want. If you have little kids, you want little pieces. So there we are. Give it a good rinse. There, now we're ready to put it in the pot. Now do you see why you rinse it off good? Look what come out. He didn't like the water. He's gonna try and sneak back in there, that little bugger. But we're gonna get rid of him and get rid of anybody else that thinks they're gonna live in my food. Okay, so the cauliflower is all in the pot. Put in enough water to cover it. And then add some salt. This is the only, you need salt in cauliflower. It's a very bland food. and I'm going to turn it on to high until it boils, and then I'll turn it down. We're going to put a lid on there, and we're going to get ready to make the sauce. So now we're going to grate up some cheese. Brent had got me this 2 years for Christmas. I really like it. It's got a container underneath. It has a lid on it, but it has the measuring right there, and you just attach that to the bottom. And then when you're grating, it all falls in there, and you can see how much cheese you've got in there. We're probably gonna go for about 1.5 cups today. And I see that Daisy, she's right here. She heard the cheese container. She just loves cheese. I like to keep my hand on the wrapper. That way, you know, if there's anything on my hand, it's just on the wrapper. I'm not touching the cheese. I forget which grandchild I had here, and they were grating cheese, and the cheese was just black. Should have washed their hands first. Oh well, it's all good when it's grandchildren dirt. And this is where you take the skin off your fingers. So, that's for Daisy. Cheese girl? Hey? You ready for a cheese? Are you gonna catch it? No, sit. Good catch. Okay, so the cauliflower's been cooking for about 10 minutes. It's been boiling away here. It's not quite done yet because you have to actually push your fork into it. If the fork just easily slid in there, it would be done. But it's almost done. So we're going to switch to this pot, and we're going to turn it on, and we're going to melt that butter. That is about a tablespoon of butter in there. And we're just going to melt that butter. Now that all the butter is melted, we're going to add, I'm going to start off with a tablespoon of flour, and then mix that up. Now I have my burner set fairly low. It's about a 4 because you don't want to burn your butter. And mix that all up. Now, that's not enough flour. When it's all in a ball, that's enough flour. And it's all pulled away, so just add a little bit more flour to it. Stir it up again, get all the liquid. So there should be no runny. Okay, so that's still not quite enough flour in there. So we'll just add a little bit, not too much. There we go. Now there's no liquid left. And you're going to want to stir this for about a minute, because if you don't, then your sauce tastes like flour. You have to actually cook the flour. I made it once, and I just, as soon as I was at this stage, I had poured in the milk, and I was like, what was wrong with the sauce? It tasted like flour, and that's why. Because we're working with butter here, we're working on a low heat, because butter burns. Okay, so it's been about a minute now. Now we're going to add our milk. We're going to stir that up, knock off all the butter off your spoon, and you're going to switch to a whisk. And you're going to whisk this now. And you're just going to keep whisking it until it gets nice and thick. Okay, we're almost there on the sauce. It's getting thicker. Now your sauce is nice and thick. Time to add your cheese. Now, to speed up that last process, you could have stuck your milk in the microwave and took the chill off of it, and then it wouldn't have taken so long to stir, but I don't microwave unless I absolutely have to. So now I turned the heat off. It's just sitting on the warm burner, and we're just going to stir in. Keep stirring until that's all lump free. We've got all the cheese is melted now into that beautiful sauce, and I had washed the colander after I had rinsed off the cauliflower. I washed it with soap and water, and then when my cauliflower was cooked, I dumped it back into the colander. Make sure you get all of the water off, because if you leave a lot of water in the cauliflower, then it's going to make your sauce runny again. So now you can either dump your cauliflower into a big bowl if you're going to set it on the table for everybody to help themselves, and then pour your sauce on, or you can just, you know, put it in individually, put it on a plate, and then pour your sauce in. Wow, doesn't that look beautiful? Cauliflower with cheese sauce. Now you could garnish it if you wanted. Maybe a little bit of parsley flakes or some chives. And there, quick and easy. I'm not sure if I was half an hour from start to finish. And you have milk, you have cheese, you have your vegetable. Delicious. And of course, here's Daisy waiting for her cheese sauce. Let's see now. I think we got the approval of the dog anyways.